can you talk about the at-bats Abe had tonight?
Oh, man, he has some good at-bats. I mean, I thought we had some real good at-bats because, you know, you give Darvish a lead like that, and we had a couple chances. You know, we had the bases loaded, and he got the comebacker for the double play, but it didn't end the game for us. You know, it didn't take the wind out of our sails. We kept fighting, and, you know, we got to a point in the game where when guys got hits that were meaningful as opposed to just, you know, feel-good hits. Because that's a hard game to win.
Talk about Kluber and the way he was going to bounce back after he gave up the run.
You know, I mean, his line's not going to look great. He tried to sneak a fastball by Odor that probably not the best idea. But after he gave up the runs, he stayed out there. You know, we had Armstrong warming up early. We get to a point in the game where we can go to Otero and the lefties and Cody. I think he deserves a lot of credit for not giving up more.
Were you okay with going over 100 pitches with him?
Yeah, I think about 110, 115 was the max. I wanted to give him a chance to finish that inning. He had worked so hard. I knew he was starting to feel it, but I didn't, you know, he battled those last couple innings. I wanted to give him a chance to get out of his own inning.
So something going on with his finger?
Yeah, I think the humidity was kind of got some blisters going there just because it was so humid, and we haven't been used to that for a while.
You know, talking about Almonte, looked like for a guy getting started, he didn't get wild at the plate. He kind of stayed within himself.
He did. I mean, early.
What you saw?
Well, early. I mean, because Abe's he's not going to walk the most on, you know, our club. We know that. And Darvish with that off speed, but he made him work and stay in the zone. And, you know, he took his walk. I thought he played a good game. He had some really good at bats.
Encarnacion's home run puts you right back in it. I mean,
That's why we got him. That's a nice feeling. I mean, you could tell. I mean, he had one thing in mind right there, and he did it. He's a good hitter. Hopefully there's a lot more to come.
What do you think of Yandy today? I mean, it didn't look like nerves were.
It didn't at all. He looked like the same guy that we've seen all spring. Looked like he was having fun playing in a game, and he made a nice play at third. And again, you're not going to see pitching like that every night. I hope we don't, but I mean he looked just fine.
Down 5-1, that two-run homer by Ramirez to get you guys back in the game. Just in that part, how crucial is that? You
could feel there was a little more energy in the dugout because it's not the best feeling. You know, it's the fourth inning and Darvish is pitching the way he is, but it got us close. So then after that, whatever we did mattered. But also think Kluber deserves some credit in our bullpen to keep it right there because you could tell they were feeling pretty good about themselves.
We were talking about Brantley before the game, just about the makeup of your lineup, just the different styles of hitters. Just how much you like just the composition of, you know, it seems like it's a good mix and there's not really a lot of breaks in there.
Well, that's the idea. I mean, if you give a pitcher an inning off, it's going to cost you. And I mean, Brant's kind of been that anchor in the 3-hole. His last at bat was, you know, indicative of what he put the ball in play. He didn't crush it, but he hit the ball through the hole. And you get rewarded when you use the whole field and you put it in play.
You talk a lot this spring about wanting to be aggressive on base patches. What did you kind of think about?
I thought we did a good. I mean, Carlos was probably a little too aggressive, and in the end, it might have got us a run because I know they cut it because he was there, and that ball we might have had an out at the plate. We still don't want to do that very often, but we ran at the right times. I thought Sandy does a good job down at first. He's on it pretty good. He communicates with those guys really well.
Your bullpen did a great job. I know it's a new year, but is there any carryover effect of confidence among those guys that if you can get them into the game to them in the 7th, you've got a pretty good shot at winning?
Well, I mean, I think most bullpens are like that now. You know, you start getting to the back of your bullpen, man, there's not too many teams that don't feel good. There's a lot of good arms in this league. I hope that we're one of them, you know, but it's one game. But, I mean, you're right. There's a resume there with all of these guys. And, you know, Boone gives us a little added, you know, difference maker against lefties. And Otero's been so important to us.
Do you think it was, with the day that Yandy had, he made the nice guy just not get the base hit, just getting him out of the game, putting him in Martinez, just an opportunity to kind of come out, have a nice day. And go.
Well, if we have a lead, we're going to put Michael in. I think it makes sense. He's a good defender. I just think that makes sense.
Terry, is it a little more special to have this kind of a win on the first game of the season? You guys are down 5-1, 7 unanswered ones, and to pull it out against their best bullpen?
Well, I mean, I think it always gets a little more glaring because it's opening day. But it is just one game. You know, everything gets magnified early, but you know, we'll show up tomorrow and play again. And once you get into the rhythm of games, they all mean the same. It just the first couple get a little more, you know, hyped up than the normal. And I get it, but I think you gotta just play the game the way it's supposed to be played, whatever game it is.
Could you see it, Encarnacion later in spring training, kind of getting to the point where he was ready to go?
Yeah. He got into the ballpark the other night and he took a good swing. He had hit extra a lot when we were on the road a few days, pumping that machine for a while. He's a good professional hitter. I don't think he cares what he hits in February. You can kind of tell, but he got it going as we got towards the end. You could tell he was picking it up a notch.
Miller mentioned he wanted to use last week and a half after the WBC to kind of fine-tune some things. The results were good. Did he look about as sharp as?
I thought he looked real good because the WBC came too quickly. You know, he's competing before he was ready. And he and Mickey stayed in touch. I know Mick sent him some video. They talked a little bit. And when he came back, he worked hard. And I think it shows. He looked good in that inning. All right, guys.